Good morning. We'll assume that the missing people need to be where they are. So this is our last work period of 2. I remembered something that I forgot to say yesterday. And I'm really sorry I forgot it, so I'll say it now. And that is, taking care of the land involves death sometimes. Yesterday I asked a couple of people to kill a lot of Japanese beetles. And I didn't even think about it. I was just grateful that they were willing to do it. But what I meant to say, before I forgot, was that when you're going to kill something, whether it is pulling up a weed or doing in beetles or even trimming a tree, I invite you to ask permission to say to them, are you willing to give yourself? Or are you willing to let it go? This, in part, goes back to when I was living at Senshinji and working as an organic gardener. There was one job that I had that involved putting up a great deal of euonymus. Northern people don't know euonymus so far, but it's a very invasive plant, and it spreads widely. And so I was practicing not to hate it, which was a little difficult. And the practice that I found at that time was to say to it, are you willing to let go? Are you willing to let go? And I would invite it to let go. And then I would dig as deep as I could with my knife, trying to get the last of the roots out. And I would sometimes add water if the soil was dry to make everything physically easier. But, getting rid of euonymus is supposed to be an impossible task. You just try to manage it. A couple months after I was done with that job, I went by the yard just to see how well I had done. Of course, I had also done 2 hits on it. It's like, did everything and then came back and pulled out the new sprouts. But I thought that I did really well in removing it. And I also thought that I had not done it with hate, which was perhaps, for me, more important. The story I told yesterday about they communicate with each other really means that it's not only good practice, but it may be essential for us to get ourselves on speaking terms with those beings that we have trouble with. And so I find this easier with plants than with humans. And sometimes I remind myself that I should work on the humans too. But anyway, I would invite you to that. It probably slows you down, especially if you're listening for an answer. And sometimes the answer will come in something that just refuses to be pulled up. And sometimes you might have a feeling, yes, it's okay, or no, it's not okay. And if it feels not okay and you really wanted to do it, you might go away, and maybe it'll be willing later. The question of how to live in harmony with this earth, with the natural world in particular, is a serious question in this time in our culture. And I feel like making the smallest attempt at it is still worthwhile, even, failing again and again, just like we fail to calm our minds in Zazen. To just keep making the effort to be in relationship. Relationships aren't always pretty. So that's what I wanted to add. And, okay, I'll turn that off.